This delicious cake can be eaten whole just by yourself and still help you lose weight. It contains no sugar or butter and it's less than 500 calories. However, it packs a whopping 70 grams of protein, meaning you'll be burning fat, not muscle on your diet. Check here if you have all the ingredients for this recipe and let's start cooking. Soak the gelatin leaves in ice cold water and set them aside in the fridge. For our light and delicate sponge, we need to separate egg whites from the yolks and place them in 2 different bowls. Add a pinch of lemon acid to the bowl with the egg white. I hate wasting egg yolks when my recipe needs only whites, so I use albumin powder with water instead of the second whole egg. You can get a second egg white from the whole egg or use 40 grams of bottled egg whites. The key to a light and fluffy sponge cake is to whip the egg whites thoroughly. Start on a slow speed, and when the whites turn into the small yellowish bubbles, increase the speed. Continue whisking even when you see the first soft peaks. Don't stop until the whites become dense and hold their shape even when the bowl is turned upside down, like this. Now add the sweetener, milk and flour to the egg yolks in a bowl. Combine everything with a whisk or a mixer until smooth. Add half a teaspoon of baking powder and fold in the beaten egg whites in 3 to 4 additions. Being very gentle so as not to break the air bubbles in the whites. If you mix too vigorously, the sponge may lose its lightness and become hard and chewy after baking. It's time to assemble the pan. My favorite one is this detachable ring. I leave the link to all the ingredients and tools I'm using in the description. It is very handy, as you can bake small cakes or large ones, just adjusting the size of the pan, without cluttering your kitchen with numerous baking dishes. I set my pan to a size of 16 centimeters, and now I'm lining the bottom with 2 layers of foil. Keep in mind that aluminum foil comes in both glossy and matte sides. Place the matte side up against the sponge, and after baking, you'll be able to easily remove it. The glossy side tends to stick to the sponge, so if you've ever struggled to rip the foil off the sponges or cookies, this tip is worth trying. After pouring the dough into the pan, gently move it to the sides to create the flatter surface. This sponge bakes quickly, needing only 10, maybe 15 minutes in a preheated oven. Here is another important tip for you guys. Cool your sponge cake upside down. When the sponge is cooling, it tends to collapse under its own weight. By flipping it upside down, we use gravity to help stabilize and maintain the structure of the cake. While the cake is cooling, let's prepare the cream. Just mix Greek yogurt, cottage cheese and the sweetener together. The ingredients don't have to be super skinny. If your calories allow it, you can go for a higher percentage of fat in all the ingredients. The cake will be even tastier. At this stage, I'm adding some unflavored whey protein to increase the protein content of the cake and give it a creamier taste. You can easily skip this step if you don't have or just don't like the protein powder. If you skip it, the cake will have even fewer calories, but with the Greek yogurt and cottage cheese, it will still have around 60 grams of protein. Heat the milk in the microwave for 30 seconds, bringing it almost to simmer, and then dissolve 6 grams of wet gelatin in it. Gently add the milk to the cottage cheese mixture to create the cream layer. Now we can pour the cream on top of the sponge, once again pushing the cream to the sides and refrigerate it for stabilizing. Our cake has been in the fridge for 2.5 hours, so it's time to the final and the easiest layer, the berry one. I use the frozen strawberries because they are harvested at the peak of the season, they are juicy and flavorful all year round. I also pick fresh strawberries and blueberries for the garnish, but you can make it entirely from the fresh berries. Place the berries in a saucepan, add sweetener, lemon acid and a bit of water. Now let's bring our berries to a boil. When the berries have released the juice and simmered for a bit, turn off the heat. Break some of the larger berries in halves and add the remaining gelatin. Stir everything well until all the gelatin has dissolved. Allow your berries to cool for a couple of minutes so their heat won't disturb our delicate cream. While spreading the berries on the sides, also be very gentle. You may notice that some berries look, well, less beautiful after boiling, so here is a little tip to trick our eyes. Cut fresh strawberries into slices and place them on top of your cake. Our eyes will focus on these fresh slices and the picture will look even more beautiful. Also, I often add blueberries to my strawberry cakes to balance the colors and the textures of my cakes. Now place the cake in the fridge for 3 to 4 hours to stabilize everything. Now, to release the cake from my ring, I will use the worm knife. Here you can see that if you use the matte side of your aluminum foil, it will easily come off. So here is our delicious cake, very soft, juicy and light, but still packed with protein. It is a real lifesaver for all my fellow sweet tooth on a diet.